Hello and welcome back to a personal code of conduct. I am recording this incredibly late. It is 10:02 p.m. And yeah, this just shows like Dio is incredibly unserious and has no plans to take this podcast to the next level. Or what is the next level? It's basically like how weekly what's up with Dio, let's go and vent, let's exist. I discovered something new about myself. And it amazed me. My ability to just lie to myself that something would be incredibly difficult to do. Then when I do it, it's like it makes me feel so much happier and like so much energetic and so much more energetic and everything is just like great. And I'm like, why didn't I do this since? Because you believed whatever nonsense your brain was saying. I was like, why do I come up with these things? Even though when I know I'm obviously bored with the content I'm consuming and it's time for me to go and create something, maybe food, maybe actually finish up my medium data science article. Oh fuck Dio. Data scientist. But seriously, go and finish your article. Your Jupyter notebook has been opened randomly. You're an adult though. You're an adult. And coupled with the fact that you've technically completed some projects in your work plan, but like, let's not tell the project manager. Technically. And you're just doing like the whole follow up with stakeholders and all that dramatics. Actually, you are the project manager. Why you are the entire central of data. You control and maintain the entire life cycle of data. And you're terrified every time you have access to production. Who gives me access to production? But then again, we're fine. We'll be there. That's why a DBA should not be somebody who wants to query, but it has to be somebody that wants to change now. Should they? Probably. Maybe. Off point in a usually sort of philosophical in-depth, what is Dio doing with her life? Dio has skills. And Dio sometimes randomly goes into it. I should have become like a proper web developer instead of like a data scientist because like they seem to have jobs everywhere and it seems like okay because like when you are like as a data scientist, people, especially that intimate knowledge of like what is in a product, people want more fancier degrees than they would want with a web developer. So if you can prove that you can do the job, you're fine. I feel like the business in quotes barrier to entry for a data scientist or a data analyst, I'm thinking I'm going to be sticking with data analysis. I'm not sure if I want to go on to like get a further degree, which I should. I'm 25. Like, let's go back to school and do 25 year and do like and be let's go back to a school. I feel like there's a lot less pressure when you're like in a school. So, but obviously you need to make more money so you can live like a student. Anyways, Dio doesn't remember anything I said last week. Even though like I'm pretty sure like I ended the podcast with like a whole level of conviction. I still haven't done my I still haven't done my face mask, which I should do after like a 10-minute session when I make sure my face is completely dry. But God, I'm tired. It's already 10 o'clock and I want to press phone and I want to wake up early. This is the thing, you never sleep early. And like the sun terrifies me. Not because of the whole like I'm about to put on glycolic acid on my face. Not because of like that, but because like it's too hot to be productive. See the bullshit thing, like to be like outdoor productive, not computer productive. Like you can be computer productive, like so far inside of your house is cool, but like it's too hot to be like outdoor productive. Oh god, I hate when my phone screen closes. It always terrifies me that maybe this thing has gone off and it's not recording. Fuck. I hate this shit. This is why you don't let it close in the first place. Oh no. That's giving me paranoia. Is this fine? Maybe it's fine. I'm tired. We tell ourselves all sorts of things. I think I found the root of my procrastination, my ability to lie to myself. It was like, don't convince yourself doing this, don't convince it. But I feel like now that I finally got into the root, I think it's time to nip it in the bud. My goal is to have a routine that makes me feel safe and satisfied and happy, yada yada yada. Like a good routine, that kind of vibes. And let's see Dayo's new routine plan for her health. So the routine, her workout routine, like that she's redoing, and see whether she can stick to it. Like I have been generally sticking to workout since like October last year. Her workout routine that she's hoping she'll be able to stick to is this. So one would be that would be her workout routine that she's hoping to be able to stick to is this. One would be swimming. No, not swimming. Sorry, that's very off point. That has nothing. One would be a Monday morning run. That's if like she doesn't get like if the hybrid thing still works out. A Monday morning run in the mornings. A Monday morning run, a an evening upper body workout. Then on Tuesday, maybe like a morning stretch before she goes to the office, meaning you have to wake up 30 minutes earlier. That it's no longer 5:45, maybe 5:15. Like a nice 20-minute stretch. Then when you get back from the office, you go to the gym. No, you don't go to the gym. You do like a body weight, maybe upper body again. Then on a Wednesday, you try to do something. You do like a body weight leg day. Then on like in the morning on Wednesday, you try to do like a nice upper body cardio, like strictly focused upper body cardio. Then on Wednesday evening, you do leg day. And thing is, I'm trying to cut like my leg days down to 30 minutes. You do leg day. Then on Thursday, you in the evenings you do maybe no. Let's switch it to like on Monday you do abs. I mean on Tuesday evenings you do abs. Then on Tuesday evenings you do abs. Then on Thursday evening you do glutes. And that's not in the gym. These are happening in my house. This is like Monday, Wednesday, Saturday you go to the gym. Then on Friday you just stretch. Saturday evening you just stretch. Sunday after your long and dramatic walk you just stretch. Like stretch. Especially now that my hips are so fucking stiff. Jesus. I don't know, man. But we'll talk like an individual with more sense after this. God, I'm sleepy. And I know I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to do something very stupid. I'm probably stay awake till 12. God, I amuse myself. Jesus. Let me go and put my face mask on my face. Oh Lord, I went on a like 2 minute rant. I'm back with a face mask on my face, and yeah, I'm sitting around existing. And yeah, there's several things that have happened. I attempted to draw again. It wasn't a bad attempt, but I got very distracted. Like my brain couldn't focus again, which is funny because anytime I'm like researching and coding something, so far I don't hit like a massive like roadblock of I can't figure out the answer. I can go for like give or take like 4 hours straight. The standard you work for 4 hours. I can go for 4 hours straight from like my brain is fried. But if I hit a massive roadblock, it's like I hit. You need to go and like rest before like that is fixed, and that's whatever I guess. But there isn't a situation where she's like existing. And I know like over the course of this year this has been okay, like I like you are now I don't feel fucking 25, but like you are now 25 and you need to do what 25-year-olds do, which is like, oh, are you going to go for a further degree? Like you've done a reasonable amount of time in like in the corporate world. Like, are you going to go and further get like a further degree? Like, what are your plans? Are you going to JP? Like, how is industry looking? How is profitability, comfort? What are your plans for long-term stability? Those like 25-year-old thoughts. I think, I don't know, whatever it is like 25-year-olds ought to be doing. But the thing is, I'm coasting through life. Because ideally, if I was in a developed country, the position I'm in is a fantastic position. Like, in a very good career, in a very like good organization, like ideally, I'm saying like in context of first one, a very good organization, very good well placed career, and is in the top 10%, no, not even top 2% of relatively, or people with 0 to 2 years experience, in the earnings of people with 0 to 3 years experience. She's in top 10%. But given the fact that she's Nigeria, generally in the top 10% of wage earners her age. These are fabulous metrics in a first world country. But in a third world country, no, because the whole country is poor. And if your whole country is fucking poor, yeah, you start to realize, oh, no, 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 no. Those metrics are not enough. You need to be in the top 0.0002% to have peace of mind, because like, if you are like in a position, you obviously have been raised with certain comforts. But you be honest with yourself, like, are you going to start, is it really going to be like a hand to mouth situation for the rest of your life? But then again, I would say, like, even in first world countries, they are living hand to mouth situations. But like, with the exception of some massive countries that are obsessed with cars, I think like most people want to live in a place with like really good public transportation. Especially if you're going to be middle class. Like, don't make being middle class a horrible experience. Like, don't be, like, make middle class being not involve 9 hours of traffic. Make middle class be smooth and fast, and rich will also be fast, because like there'll be nobody on the road to drag it with you, and you don't have to pay ridiculous amounts of money for a helicopter, because you'll be the only one that could afford a car, and the road will be pristine, and every rich person will drive a Rolls Royce, while we all are comfortable on a train and on our bicycles. I've been watching too much Not Just Bikes, but it almost makes you feel like, like when, okay, this is like I won't say my imagination as a third worlder, because I won't say every third worlder, because I'm the only third. I'm not obviously the only third worlder I know, but like my imagination, I feel influenced by being a third worlder, is like, you think people go to school at varying steps. They are not necessarily struggling to find a job because recruiters come into school, and or they are already organized to the general standards and templates as to how you present yourself to an organization, and you get a job somewhere and you work with them for 40 years, and then you retire. I don't like I like I feel like, but I feel even first world countries are ruining that for themselves, ruining stability for their young people, and wondering how. It's like COVID allowed everybody to know what's like, especially third worlders, exposed to the fact that like everybody doesn't have sense. Like the whole rich country thing, they too don't have sense. We all don't have sense, and we're all very horrible people. Anyways, I don't remember whatever it is I was like being dramatic about. I don't think I was being dramatic last week, but I think I was probably making some convictions. And I know I re-listened to last week's podcast because I was like, I want to keep this in mind. But like, I coasted through 7 days, and it's like I don't remember what was happening in the like past 7 days, and I'm like, fuck, time is fast. What would that happen when I'm 40 something? Jesus. We'll be fine. But like, as 25-year-old, I think I'm now very comfortable with living week to week, and comfortable with the fact that it is March and I will soon be 26. So the goal is like by December, like you should genuinely be on track to know what the fuck you're doing with your life. That's the same thing you said when you were 22 about like you being 23. Thing is, I know somebody who's going back into web development and deciding she's going to stick to it this time, and yeah, because of her foundations in other things, and her ability to complete tasks, finish it to the end, focus on something, especially when there's like a structure behind it. She does fantastically well, even though she beats herself up like dramatically. Um, but and someone else who's I don't know, we just randomly, I won't say we randomly stopped talking, but like we don't talk as often as we used to. And I felt bad for the first like fucking like 2 weeks. And then I was like, well, You've been not necessarily friendless. You've been like a beacon of like not necessarily like tier one. You're not tier one for most people. I remember I know I've used that phrase like many times. The about being very comfortable with being a tier two friend, and that's okay. But I realize like most people in Nigeria are all like tier two friends with each other. Like, are we really? Is there anybody who's really like let's help each other to succeed? I want to be that friend for people, but then again, I'm terrified that one day I just be like, "What? I'm not in the mood to talk to anybody. Let's just disappear off the face of the planet for a couple of months and just cause another person misery." And I'm like, "No, I don't. I wouldn't want that done to me unless somebody gives me the heads up and is very clear with me that like." Okay, this is what I'm going through, and I need to go through this alone. I need to complete this, yada yada yada. The whole like story and network and whatever. But I think it's like, oh, I'm terrified of becoming an adult. This podcast particularly today doesn't really have plot. I should pause this, then go and look for a plot and finish this. But like, no, like yeah, the last part should have a plot, and maybe it's going to be me writing a Wattpad novel. Fuck. Ah, I don't want to beta read any rubbish. No beta, we die like men. Or an AO3 novel. No, not AO3. Like, let's just write a random. Not necessarily a romance, because you can't write romance for shit. An adventure novel. The one that she did a voice blog for, like, you have fucking time. There, don't say you don't have time. Work will come and there'll be no time, but like, there, don't fucking say you don't have time. You have time. Now, look for opportunities and decide what it is you want to do. So, bye till I wash this up and I come up with like 8 possible plots for my Wattpad novel. So Anchor has been behaving anyhow. Oh god, I'm so fucking sleepy. And this how like me ignoring sleep is now going to make it very difficult for me to sleep consistently. Anyway, I was going to talk about me possibly writing a Wattpad novel. Yeah, that's the thing. Let's go back to the two novels I had in mind. One was a something I wrote I think after like mid uni, and another one was in SS2. I was determined to write a Percy Jackson type novel, and it was they were all supposed to go for or was it SS3? I wanted to write it. I wrote it in a notebook. I had moved it to Word, and my laptop got sold. My mother sold my hand me down laptop. I got like a proper laptop after obviously. But a so the whole situation was this. The main character was there were four main characters. They were cool. I wanted it to be like I didn't know how to write like relatively realistic they like each other vibes. I still don't know how to write fuck. So I think like in if I were to rewrite that story, I'd completely exclude it and write it as a friendship. Like write it as a friendship between four, not necessarily teenagers. I don't even know if maybe because I won't that the reason I wanted to write person as opposite gender because I didn't want it to be a self insertion. Because I was like, what kind of writer does that? I was like, no, like as an opposite gender type human being. Okay, not opposite, like a human being that does like I didn't necessarily want it to be a chosen person thing. It was supposed to be like not necessarily Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson we have just I just wanted it to be a multi book series where they met like old West African gods, did something cool and something and whatever. But the thing is every single time because I have read something relatively similar to that they were dealing with like immortals and witchcraft and blah 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 and talking through time and ekoto and full languages and the like, but like it just wasn't very immersive because that's the disadvantage of like when you're in a poor country until you completely separate your mind. Like it's very difficult to write low fantasy, like everything is set like okay Harry Potter can like low fantasy where like it's set in our current reality and the magic is happening because like I don't know, it's very marred by our past. I think that's the reason why a lot of like even when what they call it like even when Westerners try to write low fantasy, they just pretend like people who look like me don't exist. That kind of vibes because like it's very difficult to ignore reality when in the recent past there's all sorts of horrible things that have happened. It's just easy to just let's look at everything fine and dandy for in a segment of people that never faced no like that faced more human problems rather than entire affects like an entire massive populace of people that you could all die in mass like in recent history because like history is also like 1,000 years but recent generation kind of recent history that's it still has like some form of effects. So it's like, oh, like should I write it, like why would I be writing a low fantasy in Nigeria, of course, like why can't you just use magic to make everything perfect? Like that's like the difficulty of writing low fantasy in Nigeria. Is like why can't you just use magic to make everything perfect? And I think one day I will overcome that and write low fantasy and set it in Lagos because it'd be so cool if like, or maybe I should do like a modern day, or even, or not even, or maybe a rewrite of Kotoaye, not necessarily a modern day, like do proper research, get the script of Kotoaye, then have like add more drama and everything. Like, cause I sat down and I did a conversation like no like and I did research on like Yoruba horror movies and I was like because I was like all of a sudden Kotoaye, which I didn't really understand. I just feel like it was really dark, the vibes were creepy, and there was a bird. And I also wanted to like get a script of an old Yoruba movie and make it like I should write an AO3 fan fiction of Kotoaye the movie. Like, yeah, that is the okay. That's the thing. Keep like I come up with so many great ideas. Do I actually do them? No. The answer is no. This is the reason why you need a job because like you have a job, but like this is the reason why you need jobs because you have people depending on you and you actually finish it because you have to complete a project, you have to do things, you have people who depend on you, you have deadlines and KPIs and things that must happen because you like collecting salary. Who doesn't like collecting salary? Anyways, but this is really like I should write. See, that is one thing that I should write a Kotoaye fanfiction and like properly flesh it out and see the entire plot and maybe rewatch it. But God, I don't have the patience for horror. There's a person that wants to write a horror novel. Jesus. Kotoaye fanfiction. It is written in English. What else? What am I looking for? Oh yes, this was a huge distraction from that. Because I feel, but I still see like imagine low fantasy like having a wizard battle through Lagos Island, but like it's like mad. So I need to make Magic Society or like magicians in general very fucked up people, and very very fucked up people because like you can't like you need to give them a reason why they can't just magic it all better, like magic the traffic, the horribleness, the stress that is like that's just my difficulty with writing low fantasy as a fucking third worlder. But then because a lot of other people who write low fantasy in quotes, they kind of ignore everything that is happening around them. But like it's very difficult to do that because like why would there be like something like a camp something, maybe you can't use that concept when everything is just rubbish. When the world is just rubbish, because I like to imagine in the world of Percy Jackson you have an evenly developed earth like that. Like anytime I'm reading a low fantasy book, I'm just like, oh, okay, this is like an evenly developed earth and it's just set in a segment of Earth, because it's really hard to do low fantasy, like when your country just. But then again, in all those wealthy countries, there are homeless misery, there's drug rampants, they're still able to freaking do low fantasy. But it's just, like, why would you have magic? Why would gods be real if these level of suffering? Like, I don't think I'm saying as a writer, I've ever written anything, but like, I don't think I'd be able to just gloss over that kind of like big whole plot hole. Like, why don't the magicians just make it better? Unless I make magic people and the whole premise of, because there's even one big thing, like I wanted to make it gods before, but I don't think I can make it gods. And that's why I'm looking. At one point I was looking to other religions and harnessing power and harnessing souls, but like completely exterminating the idea of a god from the whole thing. Because like, if they were gods, like, why didn't you stop the slave trade? Blah blah blah. Those kind of vibes. Like, it's just not believable that there is like a higher power defending. So like, if I was doing the whole low magic, I'd be like, I'd focus more on rather than gods, I'd focus more on Iwa, which is character. I'd focus more on Ori, and like the energy of, I already have a magic system. Like, you get a magic system based on religion, and you realize that, oh, okay, like, yeah, you can be powerful, but like, there's too many sacrifices involved to make everything better and fabulous. I should do that, and maybe I should even make it like a self-insert. It's like, oh, this should have been a whole podcast. Now I have like 16 minutes of me being just miserable before I got to the cool stuff. What else? Da 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 da. That is like one story, and I have come to the conclusion that if I was going to write it, I'd use like Ori and maybe a rewrite of Kotaye, then Bolo properly like use descriptions of like ancient Yoruba land. Oh fuck! I wish I could. Like, I can read Yoruba, I can write Yoruba, but like, if I still remember how to do it, Mogbo Yoruba me kong is so that Jesus, that your 25-year-old Yoruba woman. See how you sound. Now, another story I wanted to write was a sci-fi. It was about a real estate sci-fi agent. I think it was around I know, like, definitely, like, with the voice I tried to replicate in that novel, I'm pretty sure I had read like a couple of Terry Pratchett books at that point. And I was like, oh wait. I also can't remember the plot of like Legend of the Seeker. Oh, Jesus. Fuck. I know it just came out of my head because I was like, I read it, but I was like, what was I reading other than Terry Pratchett in secondary school? No, like in uni. And I was like, in secondary school, I was reading these motherfucking facts. Terry Goodkind novels, and I can't like, it's like when something is so much of a movie in your head, I don't even think I have the patience to read non-fan fiction like that. I need to read proper novels. Be an intelligent queen. Don't be reading random questionable A/O fan fiction on the internet. Read more cultured high fantasy, low fantasy. Read proper fiction. We're not even going to mention non-fiction because like, I did finish one non-fiction novel in my life, one of those dramatic self-helps, and I think I have covered it on this podcast. So the second was like a sci-fi novel, but I was trying to like achieve more of a Terry Pratchett voice, and it was basically centered. I know I've mentioned this because I have this is like a revisit, but this is me like actively, not necessarily actively. It's not like just saying the plot of a novel I tried to write. This was like a third, what do they call it? A I should message that person, that darkness girl, trickster god person. I should message that person and be like, I was terrified because I thought the novel was really cool, and I was like, fuck. Oh my god, I was like 14 and terrified. Jesus, it's been a decade since then. Anyways, it was supposed to be like a sci-fi novel. Then the main character is from a warrior race. This is so fucking obviously Terry Pratchett inspired, but I'm not a very funny person, so I can't even write dry humor and everything. It was like our main character. Why did that sound just happen? I had vroom. Oh fuck. Our main character is from a warrior race, but he became a real estate guy. He sells a realtor basically, and he has a nice penthouse in a nice star in a nice galaxy, and he sells private asteroids and planets. And he's doing well. Yeah, he has a nice penthouse in a nice side of the galaxy. And for some reason, I do not think I know the end, I know the beginning, but all the stuff that happens in between to get to the end, I don't fucking know. It's like our relator somehow has to stop an intergalactic war because he's from a warrior race whose whole passion and mission and everything is for the furtherance of conquest. And they resent the fact that they are totally not the best at conquest, even though they've built the entire society around conquest. And they are trying to start a war with people they definitely would not win, like primordial baby gods. Okay, they're not necessarily baby gods. I think I also put them with the baby god vibes, because at that period, I'm very sure I had like celestial beings from regular show in my head when describing those dudes. And I was like, fuck. And somehow he has to help this chick. And he was supposed to be a blue person. And I want him to have braids. Oh, fuck. OCs, blue person, braids, tail, suit. He's a real estate agent in space. Dayo, you need to know how to draw so you can draw your OC in sexy positions. Relator in space, and he has like then this scientist lady from his race, and together they do stuff happens. She has stopped the war, and he goes back to being a relator, and he convinces her like, do you have to make weapons of mass destruction? Like, you're a pretty good physicist. Like, I don't know, do physicists of like architecture, like design freaking, like move into architecture and design freaking asteroid palaces with me. I don't know. I don't know. It turns out I haven't figured out the ending well either, but like the middle of all this stuff happens is very foggy. I don't know how to do plot progression. This podcast is a testament to that. Then finally, which other thing have I tried to write? I realize I've never tried to write romance because I can't write that shit for what. Finally is me trying to write in the voice of a 7-year-old, because I don't know how to write in the eye of a 7-year-old who goes into a forest and see glorious things. Like, I need to be able to describe forests and doorknobs like magic. Like, this one is supposed to be 100% high fantasy, but based on like Nigerian gods, but also very Xiangxia inspired. And our main character is 7. And it should happen in the span of 1 year. But I don't know how to write in the voice of an 8-year-old. Like, what do 8-year-olds do? Because my brain felt like it was empty, but I know it definitely was not empty, because I had emotions, I had fears, I had all sorts of things when I was 8. Which is funny, because I also think my 22-year-old brain was fucking empty. So, like, I think, like, young people are not stupid. We just can't remember what the fuck we're thinking about when we're young. So it just feels trivial and stupid. We just know the end result and the trigger of the emotion, but not the in-between. I don't know. Mother Stories is going to be a bop. Like, I should start writing on Wattpad. I should do that. Or AO3. Kotoaye fanfiction on AO3. Wattpad. What did we decide to do the low fantasy on? Yeah, it was going to be Ori and Iwa. That is, and I feel like if you can properly do low fantasy Lagos if you completely remove all powerful beings and the sacrifices for these things a lot. Yeah, like you can continue with magical realism. It has been a personal code of conduct. I have mumbled on, and I've kind of, oh my god, it's almost 11 and I should reply this text I'm seeing and convince, I should reply it. Fuck, I want to sleep. Jesus. Bye.